What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about the price action here. Here we are, sitting at about 97,000, looking like we're coming out of this low magnificently. Nice bullish engulfing candle to mark the low. A lot of volume came down here. This candle here was your breakout candle. You had a lot of volume, and you didn't go anywhere. You barely skimmed below this low. You certainly didn't get a lower low. You didn't go anywhere. I wonder how many people crapped themselves down here at this low, man. A lot of volume down there. You didn't go anywhere. Of course, you rejected immediately. You got this bullish engulfing candle on the very next candle, and you've been on a nonstop move up ever since then. On the 4-hour time frame, you're finding support off of the 50, moving up. You're in the 60 area now. Here's where the moment of truth happens, right? By the time most of you watch this video, we got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. So actually, by the end of this video, we will have the close. But by the time most of you watch this video, we will know if the next candle is red. Are we rejecting from this area as we have, or are we continuing? Are we seeing something different? If we're seeing something different, it's time to get excited, my friends, because what this means is likely we're going to be breaking out of this phase here, of this zone, and seeing prices that are back above $100,000. I really do think that's what we're on our way for. Looking at the time frame they're at now, we're on the 4-hour time frame. All of this could happen. We could genuinely be at prices above 100,000. It's the 20th now of February. We could be at prices above $100,000 today, by the end of today. If not tomorrow, certainly by the end of this week, I think so. The targets that I'm looking for, actually, as of last week, I've been saying that I think we would be here by the end of this week. Something at about 102 to 103,000 is what I'm expecting. And then going into the final week of February, the very last week of February, I expect that we will break out to new all-time highs and see prices that are anywhere from 114K to 130K, right? That's the running thoughts on this analysis, right? Now we'll make sense out of that in a second. If that sounds too much to you, just wait. We'll make sense out of it. I promise you, okay? I do want to look. I don't normally do this, but let's look at the ribbon real quick. I'll bring it back. Oh, no, I won't be able to bring it back. Trading views glitched out. 4-hour ribbon kind of sucks most of the time. Daily ribbon. Oh, okay. Hey. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? We're about to get a daily cross. Have we gotten the daily cross? We got a daily cross, you guys, yesterday. Oh, we don't have a daily cross. Wow. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, mark my words, you guys. Don't mark my words. It might not happen. First off, before we get into this, what I think is cool, the kind of dots I feel like I just connected. Let me just show you probably a good example here, right? So here, for example, okay, you had a cross. You had a bullish cross. You even bounced off of it. This was a false cross. You continued to go lower. Okay, it didn't merit anything. It looked really good. This looked super good. If I was doing TA back here, I would have been cheering, guys. We're going to new all-time highs, all that stuff. I would have been caught off guard entirely. All I'm trying to say is these crosses can be false. They can catch you off guards. They can also be real and promote a lot of growth. This cross, if it does cross, if today closes here or lower and it does cross, it's probably going to be a fake cross. I'm not assuming anything negative of it, right? You don't generally cross below your ribbon like this and find resistance time and time again if you're inevitably going to go down. No, that's not how it happens. You generally go below, find resistance once or twice, and then you rip down. It's not, you don't hug it like this, right? You definitely don't hug it. To understand the ribbon real quick, just to understand the daily time frame here. If you look at the ribbon, again, you can see we have to really fine tune it, but you can see right here that yesterday, right there, that's where the ribbon closed. That's where the yellow line closed. Oh, so we do have the cross. Okay. See, I thought it was still above the red line, but I guess it is below it. Okay. So what we're looking for then is essentially a pullback into the cross. I was going to come up with a whole thing where if by the end of the day, if we can move up something like this and get this to pivot back above the red line, then it would prevent the cross from happening. But I guess it did technically happen yesterday. Isn't that funny? We had a bearish cross happen yesterday, and that was one of the more bullish days in this range. Although it didn't take us anywhere, we're just in the same range that we've always been. This today is the real moment of truth. And today and probably the days coming after this are the moments of truth. Can we get above this yellow line? Can we prevent this thing from crossing? Can we promote a false cross or just a really deep kind of consolidation of this ribbon to some degree, right? What we'd like to see is not just today, but any day this week, probably sometime soon, what we would like to see is prices above $98,000. There's so many reasons to expect or want prices above 98K. But the ribbon, I think, is a good one, right? A very essential one here. I had to refresh it because for some reason TradingView did this update where they don't allow you to, if you go back, you don't get your indicators back, right? Like if I have the ribbon here and if I click back a bunch of times, it won't give me my RSI and my volume back. So Looking at the weekly time frame now, getting away from the ribbon, we have a very bullish week ahead of us right now, right? 3 days, 20 hours left, and we look like this. That looks like a dragonfly doji to me right now, and I think that there's probably plenty of people looking at it like this. You know, the last time that we saw a candle like that, we moved up a good bit. Did we see any candles like that before? Down here, kind of a bullish hammer. Here, this one, we moved down, to be completely fair. It's not a perfect thing, but generally speaking, in this bull market at least, it has resulted in not just immediate continuation, but continuation in the weeks to follow as well. So I think that by the end of this week, we will close at higher prices. If we're not above 100K, that's okay, but I would expect that we are above 100K. I think this week will not just close here, but likely closes green as well. That kind of look, that kind of indication, all these wicks on the downside, coming up with higher lows and everything, reaching for higher prices, reaching for the all-time high. I think that will get all of us set up in the right frame of mind to see a breakout to new all-time highs, right? Let's talk about that. I was talking about prices at 114 to 115K, 130K. Let's talk about that. From a high to a low here, your minimum, and I'm not taking that high, I'm taking this high because this was a fake out high. This was your all-time high, right? You can tell the difference, okay? That was a breakout to new all-time highs that did not result in a breakout to new all-time highs. It was a fake out by that definition alone. High to low here relative to this range, the minimum target would be about 114K. The maximum target could be, you know, all the way up at the 2618, 150K, but relatively speaking, and I do think we go above those prices too. But relatively speaking, probably 114 to 122 is what we want to look for. 128 to 131 would be the maximum. This kind of area. Bitcoin loves its golden ratio. Bitcoin also likes the 1886-200 zone, and it loves its 2272 as well. But I don't think we get to the 2272 this month. I think that's something reserved for next month in March. Beyond the fibs here, okay, beyond the fibs, if we were to compare Bitcoin to what it's done this cycle already as far as movements go, okay, I want to look at this thing on a daily basis for this aspect, okay? We're going to leave the fib up. We're going to measure some moves. We're going to apply it to what we're doing now with the aspect that we are not just moving up from here, but likely soon to break out by the end of next week, if not very, very soon, right? So here, very clearly, this was the low, right? This was the high. But I think it's very clear that the meat of the move, the most like breakout type of move that we had was right here, right? This was your breakout move. This is what right here, this move here is what broke you out of your consolidation phase. It's what led you to your next consolidation phase. So your breakout move, which I assume, and we're going over this, we're looking at the breakout move because what we're about to do, whether it's to the downside or to the upside, will likely be a breakout move of this consolidation phase here. I hope that makes sense as to why we're analyzing this. So from a date and price range, if we take the low to the relative high, in the course of 9 days, you moved up 40%. We'll just keep that in mind and we'll keep going forward, okay? Or going backwards. Here, from a low here, a relative low right there, to the relative high, in the course of 10 days, you moved up 25%. Here, from not the relative low, but when the move started, which I think would be from this low here, here from that low to, I'm not going to get this high. That sounded funny. I'm going to put it at this high here. That was 2 days, 25%, okay? Here, from a, sure, let's take that low to that high there, 32% in 12 days. So 12 days, 10 days, 2 days. It's the 20th now. We don't have 10 days left. We don't have 12 days left. We definitely have 2 days left or 8 days left. 9 days, not so much, but something, if we're not, and if we look at this too, not just the time frames, but 39%, that's basically 40% of a move there, 25% at the minimum, 32%, something between 40 and 20, was it 25 or 22? I'm sorry, 25%, 40 and 25% could happen all between what we've seen so far in a period that takes about 2 to 12 days, 2 to 12 days. The minimum target that we've seen was 25%. But that also happened in 2 days, right? Wasn't that the 2 day one, 25%? Yeah, or 25.7. So in 2 days' time, if we moved up 25%, not saying that it happens. I don't think in 2 days. I don't think by the end of this week we'll be up here. But that put us at 122K. You best believe if we're up here by the end of this week, let alone by the end of the month, we'd be reaching for 130K. It's very possible. And don't say it isn't. We've seen Bitcoin do this before. And don't give me the whole, well, it's at a higher market cap now. Yeah, but there's more interest in it now. There's a lot more interest in it now than there was back here, right? More people are bullish on Bitcoin here around 100K and breaking up above 100K than they were down at these areas where we didn't know. So some people were still saying that we weren't going to see new all-time highs at these prices, right? And we did see new all-time highs not too shortly after that. Now everybody's talking about multi-$100,000 Bitcoin, $1,000,000 Bitcoin, right? And everybody's talked about that always. It's always been a prospect, but it's a serious prospect these days. All I'm trying to say is, don't say that this can't happen. I'm not expecting it to. Just don't say it can't happen, because it already has. It can. It very literally has happened. It can happen again. And if it doesn't happen in 2 days, maybe we move up 25% over 10 days, which we've seen before, right? And instead of the end of the month, it's the very beginning of February or March that we're at 122K. If we moved up 40% in the course of 9 days, 40% in the course of 9 days, like we did last time, and I would assume that this move out is very similar to this move up here. If we move up 40% in the course of 9 days, that puts us basically right there at about 135K. And that would be March 1st. That would literally be March 1st from this day here. If we look at this even, right, as the beginning of this move, if this is a move in itself and we're moving up to whatever range, right, the low of this move would have actually been here, in which case the 9-day time frame would have started back here. March 1st would give us 11 days. And I don't know about you guys, but if you remember, 11 days is kind of at the maximum of what we've seen these moves takes, right? 12 days being the longest, and this one had a little stall in the middle, right? Most of these moves don't really stall too much in the middle, or we don't count anything past that. So I would expect nonstop mission if we are on that now, that not just by the end of the month, but maybe by the very first couple days of March, we have a very strong chance, you guys, of being above 122K, and a decent chance of being above 130K. I got nothing else for you. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.